Hello, and welcome to Mike, DJ, and Doc, the show that plants seeds for cultivating new culture. I mean, you covered everything like from a leadership perspective. Let's talk. Let's just sidetrack just for a minute. Just talk about leaders, because in anything, when you step out, you step out. You guess what? Everybody else step back, so you're the only one in there.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to somehow find within you, like you said, how to motivate, how to inspire, and you got to have the conviction to also, like you said, put a group together and kind of line them up marching in the same direction. I tell you what, it takes a leadership to do that, and transferring that passion into leadership, into that purpose that's guiding the group of people to accomplish a single goal or multiple goals. That's very challenging. That's very challenging. And I tell you what, that brings me to one I question. How do you respond when you get weary in that? How do you respond when you get weary in that? Because guess what? It can wear you out not only mentally, but physically, but it can wear you down spiritually also. I mean, how do you get past that moment? Doc, you think
Talking about the person that's the leader?
the leader, how you get past being you're a pastor.
Are you referencing?
You're a pastor. So when you
Right.
get to a certain
Okay.
point, you leading folks, and then all of a sudden you get tired in your own soul or spirit. I mean, how do you
Okay,
get
gotcha,
past
yeah.
that?
Yes.
Well, first you have to realize why you're doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you also have to realize that, you got to realize where you're not God and what you need God to do in the life of people.
There you go.
Because if not, you will carry the burden of, why they ain't giving, why they not doing, why they not getting it. Listen, that's between them and God. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. You be a strong leader. You stand your grounds. You know what I'm saying? You stay committed to what God told you to commit to. And you go after it. And people will respond accordingly and some will not. I mean, it's been all through the scripture, even with Jesus, he had some that turned, the 70, it was issues where, people, you just got to deliver yourself from the burden of people,
Yes.
because that's not your job. That's God's job. You know what I'm saying? And realize because you'll be trying to squeeze what the old folks say, blood out of a turnip. Where God, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that meant. Still don't get what that means. Lord, you know what I'm saying? But, and then God at the last moment send a $10,000 check or something, just in general, So you got to trust and know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm doing what God told me. You know what I'm saying? And let God handle the rest. Cast the burden of people on the Lord. I mean, come on, so I have learned that because if not, man, your people will control your emotions like a water spigot. And they'll turn you, they'll direct you, you know what I'm saying? And they'll control a person's whole drive, passion, ministry, sermons, and everything else. Study. And it's like, man, and next thing you know, people become your God and you don't even realize. Because
Yes.
so you get what I'm saying? Because Go
And
ahead.
you can't be the leader if you following them.
No, not at all.
You
And all you're
can't be
doing
the
is
leader if you
responding to
following
them.
them.
And every time you get up, you speaking about them and what them is doing. And the only thing you doing is empowering them to be more of them.
Exactly.
And that ain't getting you nowhere.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's easier to hear it than it is to understand that, right? Because again, that's just human nature. Like he said, it starts with
Yes.
grandma saying you can squeeze a turnip, and it starts with these weird, grass is green on the other side. Like, and so you lead people into these fallacies of how life works. And when reality starts to hit them, I think I said the same thing earlier, right? You start to give someone else's opinion and impression of what you've already delivered when God already told you what's in you. And so now you start to say these things out loud. And I mean, like, seriously, like right now, all we need is the link so I can pass some offering on a Saturday to Doc's church. Because he
Mhm.
just delivered what I've been telling people.
Praise the Lord.
You know,
It's on the website.
I'm just saying,
Amen.
and that's all it's about, is really acknowledging, from the depths of which, like he said, deliver yourself from people. Like,
Mhm.
and if you want to live, you want to be at ease, you want a peace of mind, and that's
Mhm.
what we get into, right? Like pulling
Yes.
yourself outside of yourself and
Mhm.
just living, be who you are, be authentic, be only the
Yes.
person that you can be in that moment at that time.
Mm.
You
Amen.
put so much
Yes.
pressure on being human to the
Mhm.
point to where you can't breathe, you can't even focus at work. And
Yeah.
that's why it's hard to get caught up when you have bad leadership. Because when you have bad leadership,
Oh
those
boy.
people usually show up to work knowing that they're terrible people.
Oh.
You showing up as a great
Wow.
worker.
Mhm.
That is interesting.
You gonna get your wife a car, your kids gonna have some nice clothes this week,
Mhm.
that bonus, all of those things, because it's the job and it's what we've been taught. And
Mhm.
so
Right.
your leader, they know they're not in the right mindset. They
Ooh.
know they're not happy.
Mhm.
That's
And
how they show
Right.
up.
is
So what
Mhm.
has helped me is personal and professional. I try to do both. When I was at work and I started getting those reviews, 7 years I was at Girl Scouts. Those reviews asked me very serious questions about myself.
Mhm.
And then they had very definitive answers.
Mhm.
And they were created the same way that our testing is in our education system. And we know about that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you're going to win, you're going to have to do both. If they have some professional and developmental training, attend it, use it, sacrifice the time, and be a part of that world. If it's blogs you like, get on those blogs and get them. If it's personal time and you like how your wife or your husband or boyfriend or girlfriend treats you, great. If you don't, get you some good books, read them together.
Oh, that's
If
me.
you like church, go to church more. If you're not a church person, find some outlets that speak to what you can do. But if you want some leadership qualities and you want to add value to what is outside of yourself, you
Mhm.
have to, like he said, deliver yourself from people. You only got one body.
Mhm.
You start doing too much with everybody else's opinions and ideals, that business is going to reflect that. Your community,
Yeah.
again, your people, your neighbors, is
Mhm.
going to reflect that. You're going to get less phone calls.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You are, and
Mhm.
people, we forget that because I think when we get older, it's like, again, that collection of friends. I only,
Mhm.
and we make excuses, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's why I keep my circle tight.
Mm.
People
Yeah.
don't and that could be good too, because
Mhm.
you've grown. And it's a
Mhm.
tight circle because you're not, your allies are not people who just feeding into those false ideals of what life is, but y'all got like somewhere to go. Y'all got some journeys to make. Y'all got
Mhm.
some mountains to climb,
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Because I'm just gonna hit just on a little bit, piggyback off what you said. That experience that you gain down through life help you to understand which friends you need close and which ones you don't. And when you start identifying that, to know, like you said, who should be in your circle and who's not. And it's not like you want to shun them for any other reason. It's just sometimes you just need to be around like-minded people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I
Yes.
mentioned again the episode before, as I'm going from this transfer, I like to call it this portal from working for somebody else to full-time business owner and stuff. Sometimes the people you hang around and the conversation you have, they're totally different from hanging around employees versus hanging around people that make decisions. And nothing wrong with it being around employees. It's just I've been noticing, and it's getting clearer and clearer in the conversations that I hear. And it makes me do, like when you said, get more of the thing you want. And like I said,
Mm.
if I want to be a full-time business owner and head into my retirement and do this on my own as whatever, well, guess what? I need to study more so that I don't make that same mistake I made
Mhm.
earlier by not
Mhm.
having enough knowledge when it was time to pivot in the journey and I wasn't able to pivot.
Yep.
And so I kind of stayed and I got stuck and ended up, like I said, closing. But now I learned from that. And guess what? I'm studying more. I'm reading more. Now, as I go to work, I'm listening to audible books all the time. I'm listening to Dr. Miles Monroe again, The Spirit of Leadership.
That's my favorite.
I'm listening to him again. Thank you, Doc, for the book. He sent me an autographed copy of one.
That's how we gonna change the world right there. That's the Miles Monroe is the secret sauce to this nation changing.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
I've been listening to
Amen.
that.
Wow.
So I don't. We could talk about that in the whole show by itself, but just
Bring
talking
me
about
back.
that book. Oh, you know you coming back. You coming back for sure. But I'm telling you, it's just like those moments that I spend studying and listening and writing my, like you said, my own time rolling to work. It's been changing my mindset, and if anything else, it's helping to inspire me to move further into my purpose. Because, like I said, the business I'm going into is dealing with real estate, making affordable housing for everybody. So I'm not looking to going into that to just make money. Because see, right now I done worked 20 some years for one of the refineries here in town. So I'm not looking for a income, quote unquote. I don't want to be doing it and throwing money away. I want to be providing.
Yes.
But I want to be providing for both in affordable housing as well as a little bit of side money on the side or whatever in retirement.
Yeah.
Let's just be real about it. So,
oh yes,
the bottom line to that is, guess what? I have to prepare before I get there, so that I don't look back on the mic 2 years ago and regret that mic didn't do what he needed to do for this mic, future mic, to be rolling in that direction. Yeah. And we hoping that someone that's one of our family members that's listening to this podcast understand that. Guess what? It takes preparation. Even though you got the passion, even though you got the drive and the motor and the discipline and all those different components that make up a leadership in you, but guess what? You got to still do something before the moment arrives. You got to prepare before the moment get there, because once the moment get there, it's too late. And what we need to realize too, along with our health, our spiritual well-being, our money, health, and all this stuff, guess what? Most precious commodity we have is time.
I agree.
Once time leaves, you don't get it back. It's gone. Once that sand drop out of that hourglass, it's gone. And we all moving closer to being older every day, every minute. So any moment that you don't put forward to add value to where you going with that vision, I tell you what, you're losing out. You're losing out. So I didn't mean to go on that tangent, but it just Tycee teed it up, so I had to take a swing at it. You know, Tycee teed it up, so I had to take a swing at it. All right, one last thing before we finish up this podcast. We got a couple things. We want to thank Miss Tycee Bell for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Again, she is running for mayor of the city of Joliet. And before we do our new segment with On the Corner with DJ Cornerstone, and then summarize it with There It Is from Doc, we want you to take however long that you want to say to your constituents in Joliet, family, or whoever that driving you to run for this office and the serving us, and you can say it however you want and take as long as you want. The floor is yours. Give it up for her.
Well, I want to thank all three of you, of course, for having me on. I think we touched on a very serious subject of passion and purpose. And that's really what led me to this next step and chapter in my life, is that running for mayor, I truly believe in two things. So the first word is running. So you're propelling yourself towards something and you're building something foundational. So I feel like this is a new start for me. So my campaign is called Reset Joliet. And the goal of Reset Joliet is really to look at life, as we've described earlier, as a 360. It's an opportunity to look at formation cycles such as lifestyles, infrastructure, money, which is finances, governance, and look at all of those things and take an opportunity to say what has changed about them, what should change. And one thing we know about systems of government, since we all brought up Miles Monroe, is that you have to engage people. So I'm spending a lot of time in this campaign informing my current constituents about how we are going to engage the electorate. And so the electorate is the group of people that we're talking about, the 149,000 individuals who reside in Joliet, Illinois, under 5 districts, which are also up for reelection. Districts 1 through 5 in the city of Joliet are school districts. And so I believe truly in leveling the playing field when it comes to knowledge. If we are uninformed, we don't have any set of actions. We might not have the right toolkit. I'm not showing up to dance with the wrong shoes on. So I have definitely considered this for a large, uh, man, I'm getting emotional. I have definitely
Take your
considered
time.
this
Take your time.
for a very long time. I remember in 2019, when I first really said it out loud, a lot of people were like, "What do you mean run for mayor? You got it made. You good. You already talk to everybody. Everybody asks you questions about community. You're a resource." And I was like, "Yeah, but we don't have the resources." And God said, "It's not time yet." So I waited. And I was at a restaurant eating with a friend. And I waited and I waited. And then before you knew it, it was time to pull those petitions. And the current mayor, he went in again unopposed. And so now I look at this current situation and there's 3 of us. And I said, wow, look at God. 3 of us. Someone who's done this job for 8 years. Myself, who's been a part of the community, lived here all my life. I know the people. I understand now after 4 years of considering, right? My whole life led me to this point, but I understand now what it takes to be a representative for the people. Our current government, just this last piece, for the city of Joliet is a city manager government. So the city manager actually spends majority of his time managing the affairs of the city of Joliet.
That is true.
So as a mayor, I'm like, I can do this. You know, we got great city staff, police, firemen. They all have their own structure. Then we have, if you go to joliet.gov, I've been shouting them out, right? Get your information. If you go to the website, there are levels to a city. A mayor is but a symbol of hope and a person who comes to work every day for the people. So, yes, we have to know what's happening in the city. We have to know what rules to enforce. We have to know what to enhance. We have to know some of the key players. We have to have connections with those who we need to bring to the table early on to have those meetings. So, it is a job. I am approaching this definitely as a job and a service to the people to create an atmosphere where like-minded people can at first advance not just one thing for one group of people, but advance the city of Joliet into a space where we can reset on some fundamental issues and concerns that we have. So healthcare, infrastructure, which is really about our water and our community and how it looks, and enhancing those things and encouraging people to make the right choice to help our citizens. And then healthcare is near and dear to me, the invisible people who we sometimes often look past, right? Which could be our homeless, could be those that are disabled. I have a list of those things. My website is citizensfortyceebell.com. And I definitely think also workforce. And there's huge conversations going on about this stuff nationally. And I know I bother a lot of people when I talk about national, but again, that's the grace that God bestowed upon me. I'm having national conversations. And out of the 3 candidates, I don't know if anyone has really looked into my career. And so that's why sometimes I show up very humble, but I've made a lot of connections along the way, and I am really counting on those people to help me make an impact and influence current voters and bring in new voters based on the issues and concerns that we have solutions to. So I don't want to say you did it wrong, we did it right. I want to actually create some solutions, create some plans and some new structures, and be accountable, and then ask those that will vote to be accountable. You only have one vote. And I truly believe a vote for me is voting for a large group of people. As I said earlier, I want to cultivate others. I want to build others up. I don't want to just build around them with my own ideas. I want to bring them to the table. So I would say to anybody listening, stay tuned for town halls. I have a lot of opportunities as this one that was bestowed upon me today to have a conversation. And if you want, again, more information about anyone or any specific subject, let us know. We're asking for citizens to share their voice. But we definitely know that the date to vote is April 4th. So we're 59 days away. Can y'all believe that? It's like just sitting back. You can't just sit back and be like, oh, yeah, it's coming, it's coming. February 23rd, you can vote early. So we want registered voters and unregistered voters to be aware of what their voter registration status is, so you can be prepared to vote early on February 23rd, and that's 2023. So we're going to see everybody at the polls between February 23rd and April 4th, and we're going to make it count. Vote for Tycee Bell.
Man, yeah.
All right.
Right on.
Thank you.
Good job,
Thank you.
Tycee.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great character.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I'll be praying that you have much success on your journey here as you go forward. Again,
Thank
we
you.
want to
Tycee.
thank Miss Tycee Bell for being on the Mike, DJ, and Doc
Yeah,
podcast.
thank you, Sister Tycee.
Yes.
Thank you all
Thank you,
again.
Tycee. You're welcome.
All right. Up next, we got a new segment on the Mike, DJ, and Doc podcast. You know, we talk about Chicago style dancing and mainly footwork because we got DJ Cornerstone
Oh,
in
snap.
the house. And as we move forward with more episodes, he's going to come to us to give us the latest, the greatest on what's going on in the world of footwork. So, DJ, what's happening on the corner with DJ Cornerstone?
Man, Brother Mike, let me tell you. So I had the pleasure of, since the last time we were together, of interviewing a wonderful young sister who goes by Kay Ritchie. Very inspiring young lady. She is a mother. She's a stay-at-home mom who does a great job taking care of her children. And she is not just a foot worker now, but she's a dancer, all-around dancer, who also has a really good way of sharing her faith. And I find that to be very big because for the longest, this footwork community didn't really have people sharing their faith. And she puts it out there. Very encouraging. She puts motivational quotes and stuff on her Instagram. And yeah, so I like to give a shout out to Sister Kay Ritchie and another thanks to her. Yeah. Keep going, sis. She's cold with the two very talented dancers. Then I got the opportunity to interview another great. I'm just thankful, man, because God's been blessing me with just great people to, in addition to y'all, but great people to just to meet and talk with. This brother goes by DJ Larry Hott from primarily from the South Side of Chicago, but he's been all over the city. I tell him I'm like the Joliet Larry Hott, lived all over Joliet. But he is kind of like, to me, the Eric Thomas of the footwork community. He does motivational speaking engagements, Kings Helping Kings. He's involved with that. He has a clothing line. He is a footworker, a DJ, and a footwork track maker. And his stuff is positive, primarily positive.
Awesome.
And one thing I know he has coming up, which I'm planning on being there. I'll put the company name out. Job, don't y'all force me to work on this doggone day. It's going to be anyway, let me calm down. So
So passionate.
Yeah, because I don't get out much. So I'm trying to get to this event. It's called Patty's Brunch. It's him and another wonderful brother I got to interview, John Budilla. They linked up to put together a daytime party March 12th from 2 to 6. If you want more information on that, you can get that through my link. You can hit me up on my Instagram or email me at djcornerstone1@gmail.com, and I'll give you more information on that. But it's going to be a great time. It's going to be some dancing. I'm going to be in there kicking my legs, sweating, wearing a whole bunch of green and all that. But yeah, that's coming up. And I got to give shout outs to King AG, one of the footwork kings. He released an album called the 007. And the significance of this footwork album is this thing shows, for one, a lot of love to the community. It's not just, let me just put out some good tracks. There's a story in these tracks. It might not all be clean, but there's a story in these footwork tracks. The album cover itself is very touching because it shows the fallen footworkers. All their pictures are on there, and his loved ones, his grandmothers. So he's putting out a message. In addition to sharing love, he has each track he's working with a different person. This brother King AG is one of those who's working to unify the footwork community. So I got to give a big shout out to King AG.
Yeah.
Yep, because that's once that footwork community gets united, instead of it's your group here and my group there, once it all comes together, y'all world, look out. Because it's already like the end thing, the new thing that's surfacing. But when everybody comes together on this, y'all thought hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all thought hip hop was something. Wait till y'all see this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what I got so far for the events. Oh, DJ Twine. I interviewed brother DJ Twine last night and had the privilege to do an exclusive of his album release coming out called Rise of an Underdog. DJ Twine is one who's been involved with all the main footwork crews back in the day, all the way back to House-O-Matics. So just be quick shout outs to him. And that's it for On the Corner with your brother DJ Cornerstone, your footwork news boy. Blessings to you all.
All right, y'all give it up for him. All right, good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And if you didn't catch where his link is at, you can go to MikeDJandDoc.com, and all of his connections, all his links on there. You can get that information for all those upcoming events. All right, we'll be right back with There It Is.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, coming back with There It Is. We've had a very powerful and enlightening session today. Thankful for our guest, was very knowledgeable, very well versed. If I was in Joliet, Illinois, I would vote for her. Yes, I would. Definitely. This is exciting. This is a great day. And it's her moment. It's her season. She's in demand right now. And I want to just close with this scripture came up just listening to everyone today about they that are faithful in the least or in the few things, God will make them ruler over much. And, you know, this is the key to success in every individual's life because you're responsible for your faithfulness in your least. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're responsible for that. Tell people all the time, you never know somebody's commitment to their least, to their few things, you know, because that's the key to your success. God said, if you're faithful over the least, I'll make you ruler over much. You understand? Learn how to master being committed and being faithful and consistent when you sometimes have to stand alone. when you sometimes have to do it by yourself, when sometimes don't nobody but one or two people get behind you or get with you. You understand? Learn to stay committed, because this is where God tests your heart and tests your faithfulness. Come on, because once again, like we said, he's responsible for bringing the increase, not by power, not by might, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. And see, God knows our heart. He knows if you got a heart that's committed to doing what you're passionate about on your worst day, to doing what you're passionate about when you got to stand alone, when you have to encourage yourself in the Lord. Come on, glory to God. My. When you got to bring your own joy, when you have to uplift yourself, be your own source of a cheerleader. Do you understand? And so we want to encourage you today that no matter what you're burdened about, what your passion is, stick with it. Stay committed. Listen, nobody's going to feel the way you feel about what you're burdened about like you. You understand? Never forget that. Don't be like, well, they just, no. Nobody's going to feel that burden of responsibility to that pain, to that burden like you do. Hey, my. That's how, glory to God. Ah, my.
Come on,
Hey,
Doc.
and there it is. I can go deeper in that, but there it is.
Ooh.
Some of the
Correct.
breast brain surgeons. Come on, my. Some of the best surgeons, some of the people that invented certain things. Come on, all they did was birthed out what God put in them. But never forget that. We don't invent nothing. All we do is birth what God put on the inside of us. What are you going to birth in this season of your life?
Man, come on, Doc.
There it is.
There, that's it.
Preach.
Oh, man, crank it up.
If you have any questions for Doc, DJ, or Mike, please go to MikeDJandDoc.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. New episodes released on the 7th and 21st of each month. Matthew 25:40, Good News Translation, the King will reply, I tell you, whenever you did this for one of the least important of these followers of mine, you did it for me. We leave you with this question. Am I helping at least one person? The Mike, DJ, and Doc podcast is brought to you by Silver Cup Investments. Recorded at Audio Hive Podcasting.